Good afternoon, team. Thank you all for being here today. The purpose of this meeting is to finalize our action plan to improve the gym layout and overall member experience. We will discuss the strategies outlined, gather your feedback, and collaboratively set clear next steps. Our primary goal are: number 1 is to review and refine the gym layout analysis. Number 2 is to gather insight from all of you about how we can enhance space utilization. Number 3 is to finalize our action plan for implementing the changes. Tony, let's start with your findings from the gym layout analysis. What areas of inefficiencies or underutilization have you identified? Jane, you gather input from our members and fitness experts. Could you summarize their recommendations? Now, let's hear from everyone. Do you have suggestions on how we can create a layout that improves member experience while maintaining smooth workflow for staff? Tony, let's begin with the findings from your gym layout analysis. Could you walk us through the areas where you've identified inefficiencies or spaces that are underutilized? Please feel free to provide example or specific challenges you've observed.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my findings. As part of the gym layout analysis, I conducted a thorough review of the current space utilization. Here's what I have identified. Number 1, underutilized spaces. The area near the cardio machine seems to be underused during peak hours, and it appears that members gravitate towards the central zones, leaving this section largely empty. Number 2, inefficient equipment placement. Some of the strength training equipment is placed too close to the stretching zone, which leads to congestion during busy times. This also creates a safety concern for members using free weights nearby. Number 3, workflow challenges. The lack of clear zoning makes it difficult for staff to manage member flow efficiently. For example, the free weights are often becomes overcrowded while other sections are empty. My suggestions for improvements are: we could consider redistributing the equipment to create a clear activity zones such as dedicated areas for cardio, strength training, and stretching. Adding a simple signage or floor markers might help guide members and improve the overall flow. And we could also reposition some underutilized equipment to busier areas to balance the space usage. These are the main issues and suggestions I've come up with so far. I'd be happy to hear your thoughts or answer any questions about these observations. That's all.
Thank you, Tony. That's excellent insight. It gives us a clear understanding of where we need to focus our efforts. Jane, you've been gathering feedback from our gym members and consulting with fitness experts. Could you summarize the key points they have raised about their ideal gym layout and any recommendation they've made?
Thank you for the opportunity to share the feedback I've gathered. I've spoken to both gym members and fitness experts, and here's a summary of the key insights and recommendations they provided. Key findings from members and experts. Member preferences. Many members express that they prefer more open spaces for functional training and group activities. They feel the current setup can feel a bit cramped, especially during peak hours. Equipment feedback. Several members mentioned that they'd like to see better access to cardio machines during busy times. Additionally, they suggested more stretching mats in quieter areas for privacy. Expert recommendations. Fitness experts emphasized that the importance of creating zones to separate different activities like cardio, strength training, and stretching. They also suggested positioning frequently used equipment closer to entry points for easier access. Suggestions for implementations. We could remove or relocate underused equipment to free up space for functional training. Adding more stretching mats in less crowded areas could meet member requests for privacy. Reorganizing equipment to create clear zones would align with both member preferences and expert advice. These are the main takeaways from the feedback. I believe incorporating these suggestions will make a noticeable difference in both member satisfaction and operational efficiency. I'd love to hear your thoughts or discuss how we can move forward with these ideas.
Thanks, Jane. The input from our members and experts is incredibly valuable for shaping a layout that resonates with their needs. Now that we've heard from Tony and Jane, I'd like to open the floor to everyone. Do you have any suggestion or ideas on how we can recognize the gym layout to enhance the member experience while also ensuring the space work efficiently for staff preparation?
I think we could create more defined zone for specific activities. For example, we could move the stretching mats to a quieter area near the windows to group all the cardio machines together. It would create a better flow and make it easier for members to find what they need.
Thank you for that, John. Grouping cardio machine together and relocating the stretching mat is a smart idea. I think having a quieter space for stretching could really enhance the member experience. Let's note that for further discussion.
That's a great yes. Build on that, a signage or floor marker to make this zone more visible. For example, color-coded section could help guide member quickly to their side area.
Great point, John. Adding color-coded section or signage will definitely make the zones more visible and easier to navigate. I like how this builds on the first suggestion. This could make the layout more user-friendly.
One issue I've noticed the bottleneck near the entrance during peak hour. Maybe we could rearrange the equipment closest to the entryway to free up some space and improve traffic flow.
That's good observation. Addressing the bottleneck near the entrance is essential from improving traffic flow. Your suggestion to rearrange equipment in that area is practical, and I think it could really make a difference.
I agree with the zoning suggestion. We could also think about adding mirrors in some areas, like the free weight section. Something members have vision and it would make the space for more open while helping with form and technique.
Excellent idea, John. Adding mirrors in the free weight section not only makes the space feel more open but also help with form correction, which member would appreciate. Let's consider how we can incorporate that.
I like the idea of creating clear zones, but about how to keep it simple. For example, could use mobile dividers or modular equipment, but just not based on demand during different times of the day.
That's a valuable perspective. Making the layout flexible with movable dividers or modular equipment is a forward-thinking solution. It will give us the ability to adapt to member need as they change.
I wonder if we could introduce a feedback station or suggestion box in the team. That why member can share their opinions regularly and we can quickly face of their needs.
I really like that suggestion, John. A feedback station or suggestion box is a great way to ensure we continue getting insight from our members, even after layout changes. It will help us stay responsive to their needs. Thank you everyone for your thoughtful and creative suggestions. Each of your ideas addresses a key area of improvement and will help us create a more functional and enjoyable space for both members and staff. Let's take these ideas into consideration as we finalize the plan. Thank you, Tony, for your detailed report on efficiencies. This will be a strong foundation for our planning. Jane, the insights from members and experts are invaluable for aligning our layout with user preferences. And thank you, Tim, for your creative ideas. Your input helps ensure plan is both practical and effective. Based on today's discussion, we will move forward with creating a detailed floor plan. Tony and Jane will collaborate to finalize this within 2 weeks. To summarize, Tony, you refine that layout analysis and work on the floor plan. Jane, you will assist with layout ideas and coordinate with members for feedback on the proposed plan. Both of you will have this ready in 2 weeks. Once the plan is ready, we will then coordinate with the maintenance team and implementation within a month. I will monitor progress and check in with you regularly to ensure everything stays on track. Thank you all for your collaboration and dedication to improving Bounce Fitness. Let's make these changes impactful for both our members and staff. If you have additional thoughts or questions after this meeting, please reach out to me directly. Let's meet again in 2 weeks to review the final floor and discuss the implementation phase. Great job today, team. Good afternoon, Tracy and Brian. Thank you for joining me today. I want to start by acknowledging that workplace challenges can arise, and this meeting is an opportunity to address your concerns respectfully and collaboratively. My goal is to help us work through this issue together and create a solution that works for everyone. Before we begin, I'd like to set some ground rules to ensure this meeting is productive. Please listen to each other without interruptions. Be respectful in your communication and focus on finding solutions rather than assigning blame. Does this sound fair to both of you? Tracy, let's start with you. Can you explain the issues from your perspective? Please provide specific examples so we can better understand your concerns.
Thank you, Jella. I've been feeling overwhelmed with my current workload, especially when additional tasks like organizing sessions for assisting with scheduling are added to my responsibilities. For example, last week I was asked to handle client follow-ups during peak reception hours, which made it difficult to give attention to visitors and phone inquiries. Additionally, there have been instances where I felt my input wasn't valued or tasks were assigned to me without much notice. This makes it challenging to prioritize and manage my responsibilities effectively. I'm committed to supporting the team, but I'd like clearer communication and a better understanding of how we can balance these expectations.
Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate you sharing that with us. I understand how feeling overburdened and disrespected might impact your ability to complete your responsibilities effectively. Now, Brian, I'd like to hear your perspective on the situation. Can you share your thoughts on how things have been going and how you see Tracy's roles in supporting you?
Thank you, Jella. I rely on the support of the reception team to help coordinate and organize training sessions, especially during busy periods. Recently, I've noticed delays or gaps in these areas. For example, last week, a client session was disrupted because some preparation details weren't completed on time, which affected the client experience. I understand that Tracy has many responsibilities, but from my perspective, some of these tasks are vital to ensure the smooth operations and deliver quality service to our clients. At the same time, I recognize that I could improve how I communicate with my needs and give more notices for tasks requiring Tracy's assistance.
Thank you, Brian. It's helpful to hear your perspective as well. I understand that ensuring smooth operation is important for delivering a great client experience. Based on what you both shared, it seems like the main issues center around expectation for Tracy's responsibilities and how tasks are being delegated. Does that sounds accurate?
Yes, yes.
Great. Now let's focus on we can address this constructively. Let's brainstorm some possible solution together. Tracy, what changes would help you manage your workload effectively while still supporting the team?
I believe that if we can clarify my primary responsibilities and create a system for handling additional requests, like a shared task log or scheduling priorities, it would help me manage my workload and support Brian and the team better.
Thank you, Tracy. That's a helpful suggestion. Brian, how can we ensure you get the support you need without overwhelming Tracy?
I think we could streamline this process by setting up clear expectations for which tasks are prioritized and finding additional ways to share the workload. For example, I'm open to learning how to handle some organizational tools or to distribute to distributing tasks among other team members when needed.
Those are both great suggestions. Let's explore how we can combine these ideas into a workable plan. Based on our discussion, here's what I propose as a solution. 1. Tracy will focus on her core responsibilities and assist with organizing sessions only when times allows. 2. Brian will use the scheduling system more independently or seek assistance from other team members if necessary. 3. We will schedule a follow-up meeting in 2 weeks to review how this arrangement is working. Does this plan address both for you concerns?
Yes.
Thank you both for your cooperation and willingness to work through this. I'll document today's meeting, including the action plan, and share a copy with both of you. If any issues comes up before our follow-up, please let me know and we will address them together. Let's focus on moving forward positively. Good afternoon, Tracy and Brian. Thank you for joining me. As we discussed previously, this meeting is to address ongoing challenges that couldn't be resolved in our earlier discussion. Our goal is to ensure a positive work environment by resolving this matter in alignment with bank's fitness policies. Let's aim to work together and find a sustainable solution. To start, I'd like to revisit the concern from both of you to ensure we are aligned on the issue at hand. Tracy, could you briefly summarize your concerns again?
Thank you, Jella. My main concern is still about feeling overwhelmed with my workload. I'm often asked to take on additional tasks like organizing sessions during already busy times at reception. For instance, last week I had to juggle clients' inquiries, phone calls, and setting up schedules, which led to delays and stress. Additionally, I sometimes feel that my contributions are undervalued, and the expectations placed on me aren't always communicated clearly or with enough notice. I want to support the team, but I also need to feel respected and that my workload is manageable.
Thank you for sharing that, Tracy. I understand how that could be frustrating and challenging. Now, Brian, could you share your perspective and any additional thoughts since our last meeting?
Thanks, Jella. My concerns remain about getting consistent support for organizing training sessions. Sometimes the preparation I rely on from the reception team isn't completed, which affects the client experience. For example, last week, a session was delayed because some materials weren't ready on time. I also recognize that Tracy has many responsibilities, but I feel some of the tasks I need support with are critical to ensuring smooth operations. I'm open to improve how I communicate my needs, but I still feel that these tasks are essential to deliver quality service to our clients.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate your input. Based on what I heard, it seems the conflict centers around differing expectation regarding task delegation and respect for roles. Is that accurate?
Mhm.
Now, let's work collaboratively to explore any new solutions. I encourage you both to share suggestions on how we might resolve this issue. Tracy, let's start with you. What changes would help you feel more supported and able to manage your workload?
I think clearer communication about what's expected and more notice for additional tasks would help a lot. It would also be helpful to have a system in place, like a shared task log, so we can all see what needs to be done and prioritize accordingly.
That's helpful suggestion. Brian, how do you feel about those ideas? And do you have any additional suggestion for how to make this process work better for you?
I agree that clearer communication would help. I also think I could take on some of the tasks, like using the scheduling system myself or working with other team members for support. I'm open to collaborate to find a system that works for both of us.
Those are great ideas. Let's summarize this suggestion into an action plan and see if we can find common ground. Thank you for your input. It seems we're still having difficulty reaching a mutual agreement. To ensure fairness and to address this matter effectively, I'm escalating this issue to Jason. They will bring an impartial perspective and help us work through this situation. Let's take a short break while I brief them on our discussion. Thank you for joining us. I've shared the key points from our earlier discussion. Tracy and Brian, could you briefly summarize your perspective for Jason?
Thank you for sharing perspective. I'd like to ask a few clarifying questions to ensure I understand the core issues and what each of you need to move forward.
Based on the suggestions provided by Jason, here's the action plan moving forward. 1. Tracy will focus on her core reception responsibilities, and any additional tasks will be prioritized and communicated with at least 24 hours notice. 2. Brian will use the scheduling system more independently and coordinate with other team members for additional support when needed. 3. Both of you will participate in a short training session to familiarize yourselves with the shared task log system to improve collaboration. 4. We will have follow-up review in 2 weeks to evaluate progress and make further adjustment if necessary. Does this plan sounds fair and achievable to both of you?
Sounds good to me.
Thank you both for your participation and for remaining open to resolving this issue. I'll document today's meeting, including the steps agreed upon the outcomes, and share a copy with you both. If any issues arise before you follow up, please let me or Jason know immediately. Let's focus on moving forward collaboratively. Good afternoon, Jane and Tony. Thank you for joining this meeting. Today, we'll focus on improving the stock management system, which is an essential part of keeping our operations smooth and efficient. Our goal is to streamline the process, making it more effective for everyone involved. The goal of this project is to create a more efficient system for managing stock at the reception desk. This will involve 1. Assessing our current processes, 2. Gathering your feedback and ideas, 3. Implementing updates that benefits the whole team. By the end of this meeting, we'll have a clear action plan with responsibilities assigned. Does that sound good to everyone?
Yes.
Let's start by understanding the current challenges with the stock management system. Jane, as you understand stock ordering and have a strong organizational background, could you share the challenges you've noticed?
Thank you, Jella. One issue I have noticed is that we lack a clear tracking system. Sometimes, supplies run out unexpectedly because there is no automated way to monitor low stock. I have also found it time-consuming to manually check inventory levels during busy reception hours.
Thank you, Jane. That's a valuable insight. Now, Tony, from your perspective as a trainer, how does the current system impact your work?
Thanks, Jella. For me, it's frustrating when supplies like towels or equipment wipes aren't available when I need them for a session. It disrupts my flow and affects the client experience. And I think having a system where I can easily flag low stock would be really helpful.
Thank you both for your input. It's clear that improving inventory tracking and introducing automation could save time and reduce frustration. Let's work together to find a solution. Based on our discussion, here's a proposed approach for tracking this task. 1. Jane, you analyze the current stock levels and document inefficiencies the current process. 2. Tony, you gather feedback from other staff members about how stock management affects their workflows and note any suggestion they have for improvement. 3. Once we gather this information, we'll collaborate to propose update to the stock management system and test the challenge changes before fully implementing them. Jane, since you're already familiar with the stock ordering, could you provide your initial analysis within 1 week?
Yes, I can have that ready by next week.
Great. And Tony, could you gather stock feedback within the same time frame?
Absolutely. I'll make sure to speak with the team and compile their input.
Perfect. Let's aim to have both tasks completed by January 15. If either of you anticipates any challenges, let me know right away. As we move forward, let's maintain open communication. If you encounter any issues or need assistance, please reach out. This is a team effort, and your contributions are critical to its success. We'll schedule a check-in next week to review progress and address any obstacles. I'll monitor progress and keep everyone updated as we go. After our check-in, we'll finalize the update to our system and test them in a small-scale rollout. This will ensure we address any issues before full implementation. Thank you both for your input and commitment to improving this process. I'll document today's discussion and share a summary with you, including your assigned responsibilities and deadlines. Let's work together to create more efficient and effective stock management system. Good afternoon, Jane and Tony. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. As part of our efforts to improve teamwork and workplace relationships, I'd like to gather your feedback on my leadership styles, communication, and conflict resolution strategies. Your honest input is incredibly valuable and will help me grow as a leader while ensuring a positive work environment for our team. To make this process simple, I prepared a few questions to guide our discussion. You're welcome to share your thoughts verbally or fill out a written survey, whichever you're more comfortable with. This is a safe and open space, and your input will remain confidential. I'll guide you through the question one at a time. Feel free to take a moment to think before responding. Your insights are valuable and directly contribute to improving how we work together. Let's begin with the first question. How would you describe my leadership styles? Do you feel it support and empower you in your role?
I think your leadership style is approachable and supportive. I have felt comfortable coming to you with concerns, but sometimes I think clearer delegation of tasks could make things even better.
I agree with Jane. You're great at encouraging us, but I think sometimes we could use more structured follow-ups to ensure that tasks are completed on time.
Do you think my communication is clear, consistent, and effective? If not, where can I improve?
Your communication is generally clear, but there have been a few instances where deadlines or priorities weren't emphasized enough. For example, during the stock management update project, I wasn't sure which tasks were most urgent.
I feel similarly. I think more frequent updates or reminders could help, especially when we're juggling multiple responsibilities.
Question number 3. When it comes to conflict resolution, did you feel heard and supported during recent sessions? What could I do better in similar situations?
I appreciated how you handled the recent conflict. It felt fair, and you gave both sides a chance to speak. One suggestion would be to include more follow up to ensure the resolution is working for everyone involved.
I felt heard as well, but I think setting clearer expectations after the resolution would help to avoid the similar issues in the future.
Question 4. What do you think I'm doing well as a leader? Are there specific actions or behavior that make a positive impact on the team?
You're very approachable and genuinely care about our input, which makes working here feel positive. I also think you're good at encouraging collaboration.
I agree. You've created a team environment where we feel supported and motivated. That's one of your biggest strengths.
Question 5. Are there any specific changes or improvements you recommend to help me build better workplace relationships or support the team more effectively?
One suggestion would be to create clearer processes for task prioritization. It would help us manage our time better and reduce any confusion about expectations.
I'd recommend more structured feedback sessions to keep everyone on the same page about the goals and progress. That way, we can address any issues before they become bigger challenges.
Thank you both for your input so far. Let's dive a little deeper into some of these areas. Feel free to share as much detail as you're comfortable with. Your feedback is incredibly valuable. Thank you for being open and honest with your feedback. It's incredibly helpful to hear your perspectives. I'll take time to review everything you've shared and identify specific action I can take to improve my leadership approach. I'm committed to continuous improvement and fostering a positive, supportive work environment. If you think of anything else after this meeting, feel free to share with me. I'm always open to additional feedback. I'll also schedule a follow-up meeting to discuss any changes or improvement I plan to implement based on what you shared today. Thank you for your time and thoughtful responses.